So like, I remember the first time I watched Higurashi, and what I initially found to be the most striking thing about its visual direction were the eyes. I got the same vibe when I watched Umineko. Whenever characters are scared, freaked out, angry, or homicidal, those expressions are perfectly expressed through their eyes, which made me appreciate how effective it can be to convey emotion through something as simple as their sight. A-Channel had a similar effect on me, but with something more specific. The fucking monochromatic eyes that Rune always has every time she's on screen. The one with the scrolled outlines, or I guess in Rune's case more so thick than scrolled. It's interesting because of the fascinatingly complex set of emotions they convey. Rune's main personality is that she's kind of a dummy. And there are several scenes where she'll be reacting to weird scenarios and will be drawn with monochromatic eyes, except her actual feelings on the matter can be ambiguous. Sometimes you can't tell if those eyes convey blissfulness and lack of awareness of the situation supported by her innocent smile, or if she's legitimately weirded out and this is the face she makes when she's feeling baffled. The ambiguity fascinates me, and it's how I always end up finding myself amused by her expressions. And honestly, that's not even the only area where I'm stimulated visually. I think that in general, A-Channel has strong character designs. Despite sharing equivalent uniforms, there are enough subtle differences that make them distinct. Like for example, during moderately climate seasons, Toru and Nagisa are the only characters who wear extra tops while everyone else just used their version of the uniforms with long sleeves. With Toru in specific, we can interpret it as a symptom of her shyness, social reclusiveness, and being self-conscious about her small skinny body, which is further proven during the hotter days when she refused to remove her jacket despite obviously sweating. There's also the fact that her sleeves cover her hands, which further conveys her small nature, albeit I used to kinda like covering my hands with jackets when I was around her age, so maybe she just prefers to dress that way, I don't know. Nagisa is interesting because while it might just be a preference thing, she possibly wears an extra top for a similar reason as Toru, due to the fact that she feels insecure about her weight, but not enough to stop her from removing it once she starts feeling uncomfortable. Even still, she keeps it tied to her waist so she still won't leave the house without it, even during hotter days. Another worthy thing is that outside, they don't exhibit these traits, probably because they feel more comfortable when they're just spending time with the main group. There are other characters that have their own subtle, unique features. My favorite one being Kamete, who's the only teacher who doesn't wear a white coat and will freely wear tracksuits or single shirts, clearly showing the disconnect between her and everyone else in terms of how much she takes her job seriously, even more conveyed through her laxed eyes. However, among the main characters, the one I would say I like the most is Rune. For starters, her forehead. One thing I will agree with this man over here is that her forehead is like, it's actually god tier. Foreheads are underrated and deserve more recognition in its power to make characters look cute. The other thing I like about her design is that among the four, she shines the most. She's the only one who wears white stockings and she has the lightest hair color. This brightness superiority couldn't be a better way to convey her lightheartedness. Like, real talk, Toru did nothing wrong throughout the entire series. If I were in her position, which frankly speaking, I think out of all the characters there, Toru might be the one that reflects my personality the most, but anyway, which is completely fucking justified in taking the steps necessary to protect Rune from danger. When I was a child and living in the 8th floor of an apartment building, my mom made sure to install window grids just to protect me from potentially falling. After seeing Rune had her fair share of close calls, I now relate to my mom more than ever. And this happens with her having complete lack of awareness of how her life was in danger just a while ago because she's just that blissfully airheaded. You know, I think out of all the characters in anime that share her archetype, it's very possible she's one of the dumbest.
何読んでんだ? ルン、これ超激アク。
I think my favorite moment was when she, alongside Nagi and Yuko, decided to go to Toru's room, only to find it uncharacteristically messy. One of the unusual things they spotted was the knockdown trash bin. When they were trying to rationalize what had happened, Rune suggested that the trash just walked away from the bin. Even after Nagi pointed out the obvious unlikelihood of that happening, Rune just got trapped in her own imagination and now believes that some chibi-ass creatures were playing around, and then after they realized someone was about to enter the room, they transformed into trash. Look at this. This is the face of someone who's genuinely convinced that her theory makes complete sense. And honestly, no better way to construct this shot than to just draw her with her signature eyes. However, make no mistake, she's a very good person. Even though she's completely unobservant, getting hit on by boys in her class and even her teacher to some degree, If it's for someone else's safety, it's a completely different story. She was concerned for Tori's well-being after she decided to leave the place at night in order to go home, and Rune was worried about her getting attacked by molesters, which was foreshadowed in an earlier episode, by the way. It's probably like the episode where we saw her in the shittiest mood, although amusingly enough, once she finds the will to make amends with Toru, her blissful personality bounces back like a fucking boomerang. And you know what? I accept it. So like, I decided to take a peek at the manga, and I realized that her... oh god. I realized that her forehead is even bigger